Hey, so the other day I was in a room with some people and we got to discussing some things. And what they came up with was that Bruce Springsteen, who did the halftime show for the Super Bowl, that Bruce Springsteen was a nobody. He had only ever done one song that they'd ever heard of. He was an old man with no talent, and he was garbage, and he should just have a heart attack and die. And then there was a Super Bowl commercial that showed Bob Dylan, and they didn't know who he was either. Just some old man, no significance. And then the guy in the video with him, will.i.am or what have you, I guess he's a guy from the Black Eyed Peas. But they knew who he was and had nothing but praise for him. And I don't know, maybe he's good. I don't know. But in the same breaths and same hour that they ridicule Springsteen and Dylan, and then they go on to praise various mainstream rap and hip hop artists, and then finish up by watching a MTV reality show, Tool Academy, and considering it the greatest entertainment value going, or something like that. My point that I'm getting to is that I'm really concerned, because these are people in their 20s. These weren't teenagers, not all of them. These were people in their mid-20s that apparently have no knowledge of who anybody is from more than a decade ago. Bruce Springsteen and Bob Dylan, among many others, as I'm sure most people can attest, extremely talented individuals. Bob Dylan is quite possibly the greatest songwriter to ever live. In my opinion, second only to Leonard Cohen, but in most people, or most critical acclaim opinion, the best of all time. Bruce Springsteen has won 18 Grammys. He's in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. He's in the Songwriters Hall of Fame. And let me tell you something. That is something that none of these guys from today are going to get into. A handful maybe. But you're not going to see all these new day hip hop artists ever in a Songwriters Hall of Fame because they can't write songs. That is what's bothering me. A lot of today's music is a song with like 3 lines in it, 3 verses or chorus lines or whatever, repeated over and over and over to the same beat. You know, if it's got a catchy beat, the lyrics appear not to matter anymore. And you're going to defend that. And then you're going to turn around and piss all over Springsteen, Dylan, Elvis, all these great musicians that came before. Well, now I'm also building up somewhere else with this, in that in some of my ICP videos, who actually can write lyrics, by the way, I mentioned the Grateful Dead, and I got a reply from a guy that said he's only in his early 20s and he has no idea who the Unfaithful Dead are. So number one, he didn't even catch what I said their name was, and number two, he's never heard of the Grateful Dead. Now, I'm not a huge Grateful Dead fan, but Touch of Grey blows away 95% of songs that are written today. I'm not trying to piss all over today's music. I don't like a lot of it, a lot of the new stuff, the mainstream stuff anyway. It's repetitive, it's mindless drivel in a lot of cases. But my concern and my reason for making this is kind of to implore, if you're a parent watching this, to implore you to make sure your kid, try at least when you're bringing them up, to play them some of the stuff, from back in the day that they may not discover on their own. Now, they're going to probably reject it because it's their parents' music, but it'd be nice to at least put it in their head to be able to hear the stuff, to say something about it later on in life. When I was a young teen, I didn't think that Elvis was, I thought Elvis was whatever. And I gave him to listen to as an adult and realized, hey, this is actually pretty good. But my point is, and then if you are one of the younger people, you're in your early 20s or you're in your teens or whatever, Forget what the current mainstream and popular trends are. Try to be respectful of what has come before and give it a listen with an open ear and open mind. And you're going to find that there's a lot more depth and meaning to the stuff. A lot of the songs today wouldn't even be around without the people from yesteryear, because most R&B and rap artists just sample people's songs. You know, P. Diddy or Puff Daddy or what have you, had his big hit off of had one of his big hits off of a Sting song, and The Police. DMX did a Phil Collins song. Kid Rock's new huge hit steals from both Warren Zevon and Leonard Skinner. A lot of these big hits, they can't just write their own song. They got to take other stuff and they got to change it because they just can't come up with their own. I heard there's a version of Crazy Train out there that someone tried to tell me, much better than what Ozzy did. Yeah, bullshit. Just as a quick thing, just as recently as January, the #1 song on Billboard was this song, Just Dance by Lady Gaga. And we have such clever chorus lyrics as just dance, gonna be okay, da da do do just dance, spin that record babe, da da do do just dance, gonna be okay, da da do do dance dance, just dance. Ooh, those are some creative and awesome lyrics. They definitely put Springsteen and Dylan and all the songwriters of old to shame. The new generation should be really proud of itself. Wow. Well, I guess my whole point is that those watching, if you don't already, you need to give music from yesteryear a chance, because people actually could write songs and play instruments, and that's a dying breed these days. And I imagine in another 15-20 years I'm not even going to want to put on a radio or a CD or anything, because songwriting is trying to die. But for every mainstream artist you see, there are 5 artists that will never get coverage that are gold. At the end of this, I just want to recommend the Woodbox Gang to anybody watching. They're a small band out of Carbondale, Illinois. They've got multiple records out. They're amazing. They're on Jello Biafra's Alternative Tentacles label, and they write all their own songs. They're amazing works of lyricism, and they're great. So anyway, one more time, to the younger folk, to the younger generation, please respect the music of your forefathers, because without it, half your rap and hip-hop wouldn't have anything to steal off of. And Springsteen and Dylan are garbage. I've never heard so much BS flow out of somebody's mouth in so short a span. Shame on you. Alright, Bauer Power out. I'm gonna go put on some Dylan.